So in the Gospel of John, it says that God wishes above all things that we prosper and be in health, even as our own soul prospers. See, God wants each of us to reveal more of its nature. And the nature of God is abundance. And the nature of God is love. And the nature of God is wholeness. These are qualities. These are spiritual verities. These are the attributes of the divine. And so God seeks a fuller and greater expression of itself. How? By means of us. So that means that we express an abundant life, and a loving life, and a creative life, and a whole, healthy, perfect life. That's what expresses God into the world. It's inaccurate thinking to think that God would want us to experience anything less than that. Why is that so? Because that would be contrary to God's own nature. If God is love, God could not desire for us to experience anything less than perfect love. All right? And so the science of mind, this is a very practical philosophy. We come back and we talk again and again about the basic law of consciousness. And that basic law of consciousness is what you put out, you get back. What you give into life, you receive back from life. And so, look, I realize I don't have a lot of time today, so do you mind if I just cut to the chase here? You have to tune up your listening a little bit and listen a little faster. The bottom line is that people have a belief in lack. I don't know about you, maybe people you know. And that belief sounds a lot like there is not enough, I'm not going to have enough, my good will run out. Some spin, some variation of that is underneath why so many people do not thrive the way that they believe that they think they should. And yet, even though people have that belief, God remains unlimited. God remains infinite in its givingness to each and every one of us. We teach in the science of mind that there is only one source. The source of all good in our life is God. God is the source, the only source. And one of the ways we say this is God is the good to which there is no opposite. And so, we all have areas of our life, I'm sure this is true for every person here, areas of our life that seem to be working pretty well. And in those areas, what I think is so is that we believe our connection with God more than other areas of our life. So for some people, their health works really well for them. And in that area, they believe on some level that they are connected with something greater, that they have faith in this idea of God is my health. And yet somebody else, it'll be relationship. Relationship is not a particular challenge for them. There always seems to be loving relationships in their life, but they perhaps struggle with their creative expression. Right? So the areas that work, we tend to know that we are connected with and a part of something greater, and we allow that to work through us, and we don't get in the way and muck it up too much. But then there are those other areas, so I think, I better do this myself because clearly God would not understand my finances, I mean, God just doesn't understand money after all. It's not like God has to work or anything like that, if I just surrendered my finances, well, God would probably want me to be a monk. Highly unlikely, okay? I mean, God does not want you to be anything other than the highest aspiration of your soul. If something would add to your life in a healthy way and not hurt anyone else, then the universe is wired to support that, right? And at the same time, we cannot just focus on ourselves. Isn't that interesting? Because we're all here in this soup of earth together. We cannot just focus on ourselves. It's like saying you cannot just inhale. Taking in, receiving, only for me. You have to also exhale. So now, I'm not just talking about money, but this includes money, right? That we have to give of our time and our talent and our treasure. Really, the whole idea of tithing is about giving your entire life. About giving back of all that you have to the source from which it all comes. And we teach you give to what feeds you spiritually. So ask yourself, where am I spiritually fed in life? If it's here, and I hope it is, great. Well, then it makes perfect sense to me that you would want to support what we do. And if it's not here, well, I hope you find some place where it is and go be there. Right? I mean, but it makes sense to me that we have to support what puts spiritual truth, what puts a message into the world that we believe in. Because if you don't support what you believe in, you're supporting what you don't believe in by your non-support. Doesn't that make sense? Right? I mean, I think that's how it works, because So here we are, we'll go back to the principle. You can only receive what you are willing to give. This is why I think it's really important around this idea of giving and receiving that you realize that you have to give of your best self everywhere in your life, not just when it's called for you to be on your best behavior. You know, so if you want some better people to come into your life, you have to start treating the people who are in your life right now like they are the very, very, very best people God has. Like it isn't getting any better. So you may as well start really showing up as the person you want to be in the work you're doing right now and with the people who are in your life right now and the way you take care of the home you're living in right now. Because as you give, you do receive. You're giving a message out into the universal mind about yourself, about what you think, about what you believe you deserve.